You know what I've been on lately? You know what I've been on? I've been on that sparkling water grind. I've been on that bubbly,
Mm.
that that spicy water is spicy.
Mm.
Oh, it exploded everywhere. It's, I have but one napkin. It's everywhere, dude. Oh my god.
Have I ever told you guys what this orange idiot likes to do?
Oh
Because I
gosh.
have usually I have like a whole stack of napkins here on the side of my desk, and he'll just reach up here and just grab the top one and then just pull them all onto the floor, just make a mess. Just because.
Good.
Sigley likes to eat the napkins, so he's very gentle with them. They just go in his mouth, is all. Dude,
Now he's mad.
that wasn't a cold open. That was a messy open.
Ha 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 ha. Welcome to Fake Racers
Please.
Podcast, everyone.
Please laugh.
Please click the like button for Davey.
Please like.
So Davey can afford more napkins.
So, yeah,
That's
so
true.
Davey can go to the store and buy some napkins.
Yeah. That's what I need right now. Is
Hopefully my
napkins.
Gatorade doesn't explode. It's...
Davey, are you forced
I
to
was gonna
use
say.
reusable napkins in your household? Are you a reusable napkin household?
I've fought really hard against it.
Mm.
We were able to go to Costco and get some real paper towels in this damn house.
Yeah.
There's something gross about when you wipe something gross up and then the gross just has to stay.
Well,
I don't
you
like
already
when the gross has to stay.
you
Right,
washed
but
it.
are you using one reusable napkin, throwing it in the wash, and it's the only thing in the wash, and you're like, guess we gotta wash it now. You're not doing that. It has to stay.
No. I think we need
Has to
I think we
stay.
need napkin recycling. You know how you have like plastic bottle recycling?
I could be down with that. Reusable napkin recycling. Then I can put
Papers-
it in a bin.
I was gonna say paper's biodegradable though.
Maybe
Right.
It's not one of. We don't
Maybe-
need to recycle it.
maybe what we should do is we should just hire a lot of trash people.
And then not pay them.
Well, why would we pay them? They're trash people.
Yeah, we gotta pay
Well,
cops
yeah.
instead.
That's not an important job.
Right, exactly. See, you get it.
People who do trash don't deserve to live,
That's right.
said some people, not me.
That's right. Hi, I'm some people.
Joe,
Not
that's
actually.
bad. Joe, that's bad.
Bad Joe. Bad.
Joe.
Pride Month's over. It's time to start our aggressive right-wing arc on this show.
And welcome to the Fake Racers
Gotta start with
Podcast.
this thing coming down.
Lauren's texting me right now.
Uh-oh.
That's probably my new bit on the show. Is I'm just gonna call out every single time I think Lauren is opening up the messages app on her phone to tell me about something that she heard. And now she's
Complain
telling me,
about
I don't
what
like
Matt
this
said.
bit! Exclamation
I'm
points.
gonna get a spray tan and then say that I haven't been sunbathing since I was 7.
What?
The girlies will get it. Welcome to the Fake Racers Podcast. I'm gonna try this again. I'm Joe.
I'm Davey.
I'm tired.
Hi, tired. I'm Dad.
I'm exhausted. And welcome to this week's edition of the Fake Racers Podcast. We cleaned the studio to get all the oofsides stink out of it.
Oh, dude, it was so stinky when we walked. It smelled like booty sweat and mayonnaise.
Like, man, we were on the
Ugh.
grind. What can I say?
Matt, I understand now why you have to wear the hazmat suit when you record oofsides. I get it.
You know, life's all about balance. It's pros
That's
and
right.
cons. So
That's right. But
Yep.
pro Shane Van Gisbergen won a road course race.
Shane Van Gisbergen.
Con, he also won the Xfinity race. Not really con, but you get it.
Yeah. The girls that get it, get it.
That's right. He went 5 for 6 on the Chicago streets. Pretty
That's
impressive.
nuts. That's ridiculous.
Pretty impressive.
his career record at Chicago is absurd because it's
Or
literally
I'm
like
sorry, 4 for
1-1.
5. 4 for
Yeah,
5.
1-1-40, 1-1. Like, if Chase Briscoe does an
Absolutely ridiculous.
aquaplane last year, he's probably perfect at this track.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable record. Unbelievable driver. He really just has that extra little bit of something.
He's got confidence right now too, right?
Yes. Yes. And I know, I get it. Like, he's not gonna suddenly turn into a winner on the ovals, but I cannot wait to see what this run of races. I mean, immediately. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. But I can't wait to see what this run of races brings when we're on the far end of it after Sonoma and we're back to the ovals. I can't wait to see what that looks like for him.
What are you saying? He's not going to win Dover?
I'm not saying
What if he
anything.
did?
I'm just okay. That'd be sick. I mean, every single person in the NASCAR social media communities would have to eat their words, because right now there's a lot. Obviously, there's some people who are correct and think it's badass and cool. Then there's some people who are like, then we got this guy comes in here and he wins. Can't wait for him to be last back on the ovals again. It's can you not have fun?
The narrative's gotten to where we thought it would get by this time in the season, that he's undeserving of playoffs because he sucks on the ovals and blah blah blah, and just I see a lot of people talking about dude's doing what he's paid to do, right? He's paid to go win the oval races, get the 88 car in the playoffs, and then Trackhouse will reap the benefits of having another charter in the playoffs. So he's doing what he's supposed to. And he's getting better on the ovals.
He is.
And if he can go out and win another one of these road course races, 2 left before the playoffs, he's looking at 15, 16 playoff points, I believe.
Yeah.
Which, first round, if you manage just some, top 15s, I think that's doable.
Which he's capable of.
And you already have some points in the bank. Get some stage points in there. I mean, you could see him advancing to the second round that has the Charlotte Roval in it.
Yeah.
And then third round has Talladega in it, so who freaking knows? But there's a path there to the championship 4.
Yeah.
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 And there's a path there for a lot of guys, it feels like, this year, with how things shake
That
out,
too.
of course. But,
which is probably Shane and Gisbergen's only problem, if he's really looking at a deep playoff run. Though that's his main problem, is there are also a lot of other guys who are getting hot right now.
yes.
Coming back to Chicago though, I'm glad that we had a pretty normal race. I'm glad there wasn't.
Finally. Yeah.
Glad there wasn't torrential downpours that affected the race in any way. Which a
Well,
little bit of rain could have been okay, but it
affected the end of the race.
It did, which is a bummer. But Chicago got the race that it deserved, because this has been a fantastic event, and before we get too far, I want to know what you guys think of the Chicago street experiment, because it was a big unknown when we were doing this for the first time, and it was a success. Everyone is more or less pretty comfortable with a street race on the schedule at this point, which I could not have said before this race happened. It was just a testament to how good it's been.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a novelty anymore. I think that's the best way to describe it. This place, it just feels natural. Every race, excluding maybe, the first Xfinity one here because of rain, has been great. And, it doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't feel special, but it feels like it just belongs there, because this track, it races so well for a street circuit. It fits what NASCAR wants, and
Yep.
If we do lose it, it's a shame, because it's not just cool from a perspective of, we're racing in downtown Chicago. It's a fantastic racetrack.
Yeah. Yeah. And to your point, I think that's you said something there that I really liked. It's it feels like it doesn't feel like an exhibition. It doesn't feel like something that's not. It feels like a NASCAR race now, but it also does still feel special. Like it does still feel like it does still feel a little bit like a marquee event. And I hope that we keep doing this because I feel like it can build itself to be that, you know, truly, I truly do, because it's just such a cool event and such a cool setting. Uh, you know, we had we had like celebs out on the grid and stuff like that, which I mean it happens at every race, but like downtown Chicago, there's a little bit more relevance. It's cool. I don't know. It's just kind of what I've been wanting from NASCAR for a long time, and I know we've probably had a discussion similar to this the last couple of years that they've been doing it, but now that we've had like a proper, relatively unaffected race, it's kind of cemented it in my head. It's like, okay, it didn't need rain, it didn't need these other things that make it all wild and crazy for it to be memorable. It happened. It was a relatively normal race. Shane Van Gisbergen won. We kind of expected pretty much all these things, but it still felt really cool. And that was like the confirmation to me, like, okay, this can stand on its own here. Like, this has legs, and this can continue to be a thing that we do if they choose to continue.
Agreed, yeah.
It's difficult to have two of these things, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hard sell, too. A lot of people don't want to. Like fans, drivers, they think it's good as a one-time thing, which makes sense, I guess.
Does it become a thing where you go to Chicagoland and you hopefully pull some people from the city out to the suburb, or it's not even really the suburbs because Chicagoland's kind of in the middle of nowhere in Joliet.
Yeah, I mean that's hard because I mean like people probably go to that because they're right there. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of a street circuit. Like,
well, it's hard to get big concerts, I think, too.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I mean, I hope we keep doing it. I know there's San Diego chatter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the chatter that I've heard about it doesn't necessarily. I mean, I guess it is technically still a street course, but where they're putting it,
airport course,
feels, more or less, yeah. Where like it more or less feels a little bit different to a street course, which could maybe save it in that like vibes category for some people.
I don't know what other tracks you're taking a date away from. I feel like maybe you're taking a date away from Darlington, which I think is okay. I don't think that's the end of the world that people will most likely make it out to be.
Yeah, I agree with you, though. I mean,
okay.
We should take a date from Atlanta. We should take a date from Phoenix, but,
Right. Well, we won't do that.
Yeah.
Atlanta might be good, though.
Atlanta might be good, but it'd be better if it was one race. I feel like. Because it always is, right, Joe?
Every track except for Daytona, Talladega, Bristol, and Michigan.
I wonder why Michigan's in there. That's a weird addition.
It's not weird at all.
Joe, where'd you go to school?
Somebody listening is like, did he mean to say Martinsville? And you're like, no, that's what he meant to say.
No, Michigan. Obviously.
Yeah, I didn't mean Martinsville. But Martinsville would be a good. That's good. That's a good one too. We'll throw them in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as we change the rear end.
Well, but yeah, I mean, I think if the city is able to kind of work out a way to move this race date around, that maybe works a little bit better for them. That would be beneficial. Maybe you move it after Lollapalooza and not before. Lollapalooza.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Maybe do it during Lollapalooza.
Then hard.
Then you'd have so many people there.
Yes, hard. Honestly, do it. If the Indy 500 can have the snake pit, then
Lollapalooza just has a NASCAR race.
Correct.
Chaperones singing Pink Pony Club over in turn 3.
Austin Dillon's going firewall deep.
Turn 6. Like Cody Ware. So speaking of firewall deep, where was this big breaking Arby's announcement that they promised? I guess they gave away free sandwiches.
The announcement was we
I
have
guess. Arby's was hit. Listen, I won't fault them. They were hitting the advertising hard. I'm never going to be upset about a sponsor choosing to activate and engage with race fans. So, A-okay with me in that regard. But yeah, I don't know what the deal was.
What if it was like
great.
supposed to? Yeah, he's very chatty today. What if it was supposed to be like post race, and then Cody Ware ended up firewall deep in the tires, and they were like, "Ooh, now it seems like it's kind of in poor taste."
There was a Cody Ware Arby's commercial during the broadcast. Think about that.
That's
wild. I saw that.
Cody Ware has more commercials than Chase Elliott.
You know how like we make jokes now. They're not really jokes; they're more observations. We make jokes like, "Oh, that's a recession indicator." Is a Cody Ware Arby's commercial like the opposite of that?
Yeah, it's like in the 90s when every Japanese car brand was just making like absurd sports cars, and then it's like, this doesn't seem like it's sustainable, and then the entire Japanese economy exploded, and it was like, oh yeah.
Oh, it worked.
Yeah.
That's what this feels. Cody Ware getting an Arby's commercial feels like that.
Yeah.
Does Arby's have the meats? Find out. Cody Ware tells you from his hospital bed. I don't know. I think he's okay.
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
he did walk away. So
he did.
Yeah.
He's probably hurting.
But... Oh, for sure. Are we okay with NASCAR not throwing the caution right away? I mean, I know there's... I don't like the fact that they came out and were like, oh, yeah, we didn't see it right away, because then it's like, oh...
Well, it's weird, too, because... Yeah, I was going to say. There's that. Audio listeners, Davey's pointing out his Parker Kligerman diecast. Well, what's weird is their initial statement was like, oh yeah, we waited to see if he was going to get out of the tires, and then when we saw he wasn't going to, Kat, do you mind? I'm doing a podcast. He's like, we were waiting to see if he would get going, and then he didn't, so then we threw the caution, but Van Gisbergen to take in the white flag, and it's like, okay, and then they were like, oh, actually, that's not true, we didn't see it, and it was like, what? So the PR team, they're scrambling.
On brand, let me tell you.
Yeah.
They were on brand.
Yeah, and the problem is, like, I don't know which of the stories is the truth. Could be a little bit of both, but either way, it doesn't look good. Because they both seem like the wrong decision. Ow, dude, stop clawing me!
When Michael McDowell was saying, ow, start driving car, when his throttle stuck?
Is that what he said?
I don't know.
It was like some kind of throttle linkage problem or something.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah, he was pretty... I mean, I'm sure SVG was kind of just sizing him up, but yeah, he was cooking.
He was cooking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if SVG was sizing him up, because I would have thought the 88 would be trying to win stage 1.
Oh.
You know? I just never felt like he could get to McDowell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Michael McDowell was sitting there like, I want to win.
Could be.
I feel like the Michael McDowells of the world are the guys that are like really hurt that SVG's had all this success. You know?
Yeah.
I don't think it's like the Denny Hamlins and the Chase Elliott's and the Kyle Larsons, but it's the guys that are kind of... They're Cup Series drivers, but they're not like... I mean, maybe Michael McDowell's not the best example because it feels like his job's really safe, but they're not like... They don't have this 5-10 year security or runway in their career.
Right.
That those other guys I named would have.
Well, it's like... It's also got to be frustrating for the guys like McDowell and Allmendinger, and I'm struggling to think of who else, where you like... In years past, you would kind of circle a race like this on your calendar, like, this is my chance to get to the playoffs, and it's like, well, now we got to deal with this friggin' guy, so...
Yeah.
So much for that.
This freaking dude.
This dude is an alien, so...
Yes.
Yeah, it really feels like Michael McDowell's season in a nutshell. A lot of speed, and then they can't finish. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it just seems like one of those things that hasn't been meant to be this year. But they have showed good signs, and Spire is obviously doing pretty well. Maybe doing a little bit better if Carson Hocevar didn't stuff it into the wall a few times there on the early in the race and block the track.
Oh my god.
And like the worst part, like the car broke, so it spun in the most dumb looking way.
Yeah.
I love that. I love when that happens. Like, the car's definitely obviously broken. Everyone can tell. But it just looks like he started going slow and then just hooked it back in the traffic. Like,
yeah, that
I love
was
it. It's
one
great.
one of the goofier big ones we've seen in a while.
Yes.
I mean, it took out some serious guys though, like Will Brown. We never really got to see if he was gonna be able to have a good run.
Yeah.
You know, tournament implications with Hocevar, who was going up against Tyler Reddick.
And a certain
Yeah,
Brad Keselowski that was going up against Ty Dillon.
that's right.
So we'll go ahead and move on to that part. And the first part of
Ty Dillon
this
is
little
through
line is
to the round of
Ty
8.
Dillon does it again. He does it again.
Hang on, I've got a sound.
He can't be stopped.
Ty Dillon is Cinderella in this
He's
tournament.
gonna do it.
Who's
he's
he up
gonna do
against
it.
this weekend?
Alex
I'm
Bowman.
looking right now.
Oh, God.
Sonoma? Oh boy.
You can't keep getting away with it!
And yet he does.
And then I think he'd go up against the legacy guy.
Yeah, it would be
Dover.
either Nemechek and Jones are facing off, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
For a
Dude,
while, they were
I-
looking like Jones was going to lose his
Dude,
thing. And
oh
Nemechek
my-
beat Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott is out of the tournament.
I was gonna say, I felt so bad for Stenhouse there because he got caught up in
Yeah.
Chastain and Logano beefing, and it not only ruined his race, but he was gonna make the round of 8. And we had a chance that we were gonna get a Final Four matchup of Ty Dillon and Ricky Stenhouse. But we were
God,
robbed!
it would have been good too. It would have been so good.
The one thing, and I don't know if it's the tracks or the races or what, but I feel like the in-season tournament hasn't been covered very effectively during the race.
Yeah.
I think
I
Atlanta.
mean, they have that whole other channel thing going on.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. But like this weekend when SVG's just kind of waltzing away, I was like, "Show me the tournament."
Well,
You know?
They
They
had
did
it.
a good
They
job of
had
showing
it.
Bubba and Bowman.
yeah, I was gonna say, there's
Yeah.
one that did get a
Yeah.
lot of coverage.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
I was watching that on a plane, by the way, and so like there was a stranger to my right, and so like when that's going on, I have to act like I'm not freaking out on the inside. Like that whole lap exchange, I'm just like,
What are
but
they
on like
doing?
on the inside, I'm losing my marbles because it's ridiculous.
So I'm trying to find it now. There was an article where Alex Bowman was talking about. It was after. So Alex obviously got interviewed post race, and he was like, "Yeah, I thought we squashed our beef. I don't really know what was going on, man." But then he went, and the video of him talking to Bubba happened after that, and then it was an interview with NASCAR.com where he said, "I wish I would have talked to him before my interviews because I did all of them under the context that he thought I right-reared him and just crashed him.
Yeah.
And then I talked to him, and he thought I was crossing him over, and he was clear outside. Spotters can't see over there, and I was just outside of him, and he moved up. And I hate to say he did it to himself, but he did it to himself, and that's what he was saying. Like, he thought I was crossing him over. So, like, there was a lot of, like, I even got in on it of, like, oh, there's going to be beef about this, and I don't think Bubba should be mad because I kind of thought he did it to himself. And then Bubba was like, yeah, I did that to myself. And I was like, oh, well.
Yeah.
Because I saw a lot of people wanting this to be more beef because these two guys do have history.
At that track.
Yeah,
And other tracks as well, but that one most
Yeah.
specifically.
Remember when Bubba threw the water at him
God.
at the
He was helping him
Roval?
cool off.
Yeah, he was tired, you know, and he
tired,
was like,
he
"Here,
was
man, I got some Gatorade for you." God.
You're welcome.
Why are you booing me? I'm right. But yeah, that was that whole thing, like leading up to it, where you got Bowman caught him and was stuck behind him for like a lap, and Bubba was blocking pretty aggressively, and then Reddick got by Bowman, and Bubba just kind of waved him by, and then went right back to fucking with Bowman again. And I was like, dude, this is not going to end well for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. It
did
was
you guys see so they were TNT was doing, and this is what my point was about the coverage like during the race. I thought they did a good job of finding all the drivers in the matchups before the race and interviewing them together.
Yeah.
Did y'all see those interviews?
I didn't see them.
Oh my god! But the
That's
one
awesome,
you got to
though.
look at the one with Bubba and Bowman because they're like walking to the driver intros or the parade car, whatever.
Yeah.
And Bowman got some sponsor plugs in there, and Bubba, I don't know, it was great. It was great.
I haven't seen it yet, but
They opened
did
an
mention it,
Ally
obviously.
savings account with each other. They went and got some lunch at McDonald's.
That's cool.
So that was a funny interview. And then to see that during the race, I was like, oh.
I hope they continue to do that.
Yeah.
Everything that all the social media stuff that they've done with it has been gold as well. I've loved like the trash talking clips and stuff. It's been hard.
Ryan Preece is through to the next round. Who's he going up against?
He
is going up against Tyler Reddick.
So, rip. And then I forget what the last matchup is.
Gibbs and Smith. So
Ty Gibbs and Zane Smith. So a great assortment of 8 drivers left in this. There is a clear favorite, I think.
Ty Dillon, obviously.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's got momentum.
Yeah.
I just can't get over that. Like we jokingly were like Ty Dillon's going all the way, and now he's in the round of 8, and now he literally can't lose at this point.
I wasn't joking when I said that there's a path for him. Let me be very clear. I said
Atlanta being that
very
first
early
race
on.
helps, man.
Yeah.
I said as soon as we were like, there is a path for Ty Dillon to get through this, and there still is, man. I don't care. All it takes is one mechanical mishap on the Bowman 48 car, and Ty Dillon is making a semifinal appearance in the first year of the in-season challenge.
Got it.
Oh my god.
I love it.
I love it. I'm so happy.
Something else that was happy was the SVG and Zillage battle on Saturday. We'll get more of it at Sonoma this week.
Yeah.
We'll probably get
That was
some of
good.
it at Watkins Glen, maybe.
Good. I really liked Connor's comments post race. They weren't like aggressive or anything like that, but he was like, "Yeah, I was kind of surprised by how aggressive he was, but I'll remember that." And I don't know. That's a cold line after battling who is without a doubt the hottest road racer in the sport right now and potentially ever. Like, that's, a little bit of balls. I like it. I dig it. I'm a Connor Zillage fan, so it makes sense, but,
Think about it. SVG now has the most Cup Series wins out of any international NASCAR driver.
God, those stupid Canadians. Hell yeah.
Wait.
It's just he has more than any Canadian.
Oh, okay.
Which I feel like
I thought you were referring to a
like
specific Canadian. I was confused.
No, I just feel like most people would have assumed that maybe a Canadian has won more than 2 races.
I mean, Jacques Villeneuve almost won a couple times.
He did.
But,
yeah, exactly.
that's about it.
Almost.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Screw that guy. In his baggy fire suits. What a dork.
But speaking of, if we go ahead and turn and go from the shop, obviously last week talked about Daniel Suarez being out at Trackhouse next year. Davey and I weren't here to give our opinions, but Daniel Suarez likes to talk. Had some interesting comments, I'm paraphrasing here. But what he had basically said is they had decided to start building around Ross and not building around Daniel. And that thought that it was not fair the way in which Trackhouse was going about continuing to build the team up. And felt like those commitments being made to the 1 were maybe stronger than the 99. He said he had a line about talking about it. How his crew chief thought the same thing. Thought maybe the resources being devoted to the cars weren't weren't even or whatnot, or cars weren't being built to Daniel's racing abilities or racing style, and they were only being built to Ross. If that's the case, they would all be reinforced with rebarb. I don't know. I never like drivers making comments like that. Especially when it feels like it's something that we're all thinking already. And not to say that it's not true. A cars, B cars, C cars, they exist. We all know they exist. But do you guys have any thoughts?
I seem to remember, because I saw some comments from both Justin Marks and Daniel Suarez this weekend regarding it. And I did thought maybe it was only Justin, or maybe it was both of them, and then Daniel went on to make these comments as well. Maybe he was asked about it, but they both kind of said that it was an amicable split.
Mm-hmm.
That said, Justin Marks is a pretty smart guy. He knows when to say the right thing for sure, even if it's not true. And I don't know. I'm with you. I don't like when drivers make these comments, even if they're asked about it. You don't say that. You don't bring that up. Like, that feels like it feels like a bridge burned.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really need to be doing that. As far as if it feels like it's true, I mean, building around, I don't think they were really building around anyone for a while. I felt like they were fast. They took advantage of the parity with the early next gen, and they rattled off a few wins, and then they fell behind, and now they're getting a little bit better. And I don't know. Suarez has always kind of seemed like that guy that was a little bit behind. So I don't. Is it true? Is it not? I don't think it matters. It's like, this is kind of who Daniel Suarez has always been. He's always been probably cup level, but is usually outshined by his teammates, and that's not a bad thing. He's had really good teammates. He was at Gibbs. He was at SHR. He's at Trackhouse with Ross Chastain. And that was Parker Kligerman ran pretty well in that car. Anyway,
Yeah.
Angry dog.
Chaser's upset.
Let's go, Chaser.
Yeah, I think
Chaser is mad about Daniel Suarez.
Chaser is a Daniel Suarez fan and cannot believe that he would say such things.
I think part of it too is you look at how they both came into this team, like just comparing like him and Ross directly, because Suarez was there from the ground up. I feel like he was a big part in the reason why Pitbull even bought into the team, and I think also like Pitbull's departure is a big factor in all of this. But like, Suarez is there from the ground level, and then Ross shows up, and not to say there's any animosity, but like, Ross very quickly becomes a superstar, and like, obviously the team's going to build around him, it seems like, and not to say that like he's not been kind of, I don't want to say left behind, but when you have a guy like Ross Chastain who has this hot hand, like, you have to build around him. He's a championship caliber driver. And so I think that's maybe where this is coming from, is like, you feel like this is your team, and then you immediately get overshadowed by somebody else.
Don't forget, we were one stroke of the pen away from having a Ross Chastain and Zane Smith pairing at Chip Ganassi Racing.
Yep.
Wow, I still forget about that. Thank you for reminding me.
Justin Marks made a decision to go and purchase Chip Ganassi Racing's 2 charters, facilities, and pretty much contract out the entire 42 team that Ross drove for in 2020. 2021.
2021, yeah.
Made a decision to do that. Also made the decision to start the Cup team with Daniel Suarez and Pitbull.
Yep.
But you also got to remember when Suarez came on into this team, it was going into 2021. He was coming out of a hellacious year. He still had major backing from a couple of the big telecom companies and a couple of big partners and sponsors to put behind him and use to get into this ride. Ross Chastain doesn't feel like he's got big sponsorship dollars behind him to get to the Cup level, right? He's got sponsorship dollars. Every driver does. So I think there's a little bit there too that we have to be careful to remember. It's something similar with SVG, with with Connor Zilic now, who's a young driver, and they both, of course, have Red Bull sponsorship. But this is I don't know, the energy drinks are weird. But I guess my point is, the guy that's going to be replacing him is a lot more like the guy that has been the superstar of the team. And I think that's what the decision is. It's not that Daniel isn't a fit for Trackhouse. It's that Ross Chastain has been such a good fit, you're trying to go get another one.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of it too, is you look at, what are they bringing to the table? Daniel Suarez, I'm just going to assume that Daniel Suarez is the reason why Pitbull bought into the team, right? And he's a very rich person, right? Mm-hmm. With him gone, what does Daniel Suarez bring that Connor Zilic doesn't, right? Zilic is a better road racer and
younger.
Yeah, he's younger, and he brings Red Bull. Daniel Suarez isn't bringing Red Bull. That's a lot of money. Yep. And this also kind of fuels a theory that I've had for the last few months that, ironically, I was messaging somebody about it on Discord during the Xfinity race, and then somebody said the exact thing that I was saying in Discord, is that I think the writing is on the wall for some sort of Trackhouse JRM hookup in the next couple of years. Because you look at it from Trackhouse's perspective, they just lost their owner who was bringing a ton of money. And look at all three of Trackhouse's drivers. They've all driven the JRM 9 car. WeatherTech and Red Bull are both sponsoring both rides. JRM has been grooming their next driver for them, right? Junior wants a Cup team. What number did Trackhouse just pick for their new Cup team? It's the 88. I'm just saying, they had a whole marketing push about the Trackhouse JRM WeatherTech 88 cars. So, makes a lot of sense.
Imagine the powers of JRM shirts and Trackhouse shirts combined.
Yeah. Just the merch alone.
I'm going to be eating for decades.
Dude,
Let's go.
That's another... that's another thing too.
I'll never have to buy an ugly shirt.
If you're Trackhouse and let's say you need funding, who's gonna bring in sponsors more than Dale Jr.? You know?
No one. Not a soul.
So yeah.
No, that's a good point, and it's cool. I'm digging it.
JRM might be able to just go get a charter from NASCAR.
Yeah.
Here,
yeah, soon.
Around Dover. Because 2311 and then Front Row Motorsports have had their injunction denied, so starting with the Dover race, they will be non-chartered entries.
Sorry, I had to play that. We're talking about the lawsuit.
It was also announced recently that the teams would have to hand over limited financial information to both parties in the lawsuit to make cases and claims and whatnot. I don't know. I don't care. I want this thing to be over with.
Yeah.
What a disaster.
Yeah. It's very clear the direction this is going. And like we talked about the last time this came up on the podcast, I think they really need to figure out a settlement because I'm sure that once again the judges are pissed. No, they're like, hey, if this goes to court, no one's going to be happy. Everyone's going to be mad. No one wants this. And this is the first time has there been a statement from either of 2311 or Front Row Motorsports today regarding this?
I don't think so.
The latest stuff? Okay. That's interesting. Because they're usually pretty quick to put something out when news has dropped like that. Mm-hmm. And this is the first time that they have not at all, seemingly. And I don't know if I'm just reading into that or what, but I don't know, maybe they're working on something. Maybe
they'll just accept the charter agreement.
Okay, are they? Well, can they at this point?
I don't know, man. I think
Like it seems
I
like
think
they would
NASCAR
have
would
to.
be okay with it because then that means NASCAR won, and I think NASCAR just cares about winning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I think a thing too that's definitely helping NASCAR's case is last year when there was the detail that they wanted they wanted extra charters that NASCAR could keep for themselves or hand out, and they pushed back against that. Well, now we know Dodge is coming back. And now all of a sudden you kind of lose that leverage of like, okay, well that's why. And in a way you're almost fighting against that if you're 2311 or front row, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kit doesn't. I thought the charter agreement, they're still allowed to issue charters if a new OEM comes into the Cup Series.
I believe. Yes, I believe
I
so.
think it's like 3, probably 2 or
Yeah.
3.
I thought it was 4.
I thought it was 4 too, but then we're at 40. Do we have open entries then? Do we go back to 43 car fields? Do we go to 44? Who knows?
Could be fun.
Shared pit stalls, baby.
We're back. NASCAR's so back. The final motorsports renaissance before all the cars drive themselves and suck.
Yeah. Sad.
Yeah.
Hey, but the Clash is returning to Bowman Gray next year.
Yeah, baby.
Remember how good the
Win-
Clash was this year?
Win for the little guys.
Remember how good of a race it was, and we all enjoyed it.
It was fun.
I was
It was
entertained.
okay.
And Fox did a great job of covering it. Remember that?
That's not true.
One of these
That's not
things is not
true.
true.
We were pretty.
Remember
I
when
wasn't
Chase
gonna.
Elliott
I wasn't
led
gonna.
like 175 at 200 laps.
Listen,
I'm just saying.
Gotta let the Knicks get what they want when they're Bowman Gray, or else it's gonna be a fiasco.
Hey, at least Chase Elliott wins a race every year, unlike some other former most popular drivers.
That's uncalled for.
But true.
Hey, that's future Cup Series owner, former most popular driver.
That's true. And Xfinity Series crew chief, winning crew chief.
Hey, yeah, Xfinity
Yup.
Series race-winning crew chief, Dale Jr.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and go to our bottom split moments of the week. Mine comes today. Shout out Bristol for getting scared by the garbage truck and having a mess for me to clean up when I got home.
Oh, Bristol, bud.
What a great producer.
Good heavens.
He was producing all over the floor, let me tell you. Anyways.
No.
Davey, what's your bottom split moment of the week?
My bottom split moment is I'm tired
Nice.
and traveling
Matt,
is a lot,
what's your bottom split
and I
moment
get to
of the
do
week?
it in 2 weeks.
Davey, stop complaining.
Again.
Matt, what's your bottom split moment of the week?
So-
Let me complain. I'm being a baby.
My bottom split moment of the week is just the entirety of the Gopher Dunes Canadian motocross race this weekend. Because the top 3 in points all had... Well, one of them wasn't funny, but the guy second in points had one of the funniest accidents you'll ever see. So basically, the guy leading the points crashed in practice, hurt himself, didn't race. The guy second in points it was dominating the first moto and then had a problem with his fuel tank and just launched himself over the bars and crashed. And so then he was like, here, we're putting a stock tank back on the bike and we'll just do a pit stop in the middle of the race. And then on said pit stop during the second moto, he was quoting Steve Mathis, he was so far out front he could have just gone to Subway in the middle of the race and still had the lead.
Heck yeah.
They screwed up the vent hose on his bike when they put it on, so I'll have to show you guys the video after this. But when he comes in to refuel, his crewman takes off the gas tank or the gas cap, and a fountain of boiling fuel just sprays out of his bike everywhere. His bike literally explodes like a geyser. It's insane, and somehow it didn't hurt anybody. And despite this, the guy third in points also crashed in both motos and had results of 8-7, but still took the points lead. So just overall goofy ass weekend of racing, and then also nobody in the U.S. could watch it because they screwed up the live stream. So things are going great up in Canada right now.
Oh, Canada.
What
Oh,
I love those races where it just feels like nobody wants to win.
I hope
Yep,
we get
pretty
one
much.
at Sonoma this weekend. I need one.
Ty Dillon
Ty
wants to win.
Ty Dillon definitely wants to win. Davey, what's your Road Pro moment of the week?
I I won last night in my Tuesday league
Yeah.
that I haven't won in yet.
Yeah.
Different from the USRL, I won the season opener for this new season at Daytona.
Super Speedway Merchant. I'm afraid.
No.
God damn
Okay.
it.
Joe, what's your Road to Pro moment of the week?
I found these Lionel NASCAR Authentics Race Win Winter Circle cars.
Weren't you just complaining about those prior to the show?
Yeah, but it's still cool that I found them.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Christopher Bell.
Mhm.
God, Christopher Bell is such a good driver. He's so much better than anyone else who drove the 20.
This show's gotten very hostile all of a sudden.
Xfinity diecasts always look oversized.
Yeah,
They
they're
do,
really
yeah.
thick.
Why do they always look so big?
I think it's because of the mold. I think they cheaped out on the mold.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because like that truck looked great,
Yeah.
all things considered. Yeah,
Yeah, diecast.
yeah.
Alright.
Denny Hamlin.
I didn't
Visual
get the
hits.
Tim Richmond
Matt?
one because they didn't have it. Oh wait, I forgot to show the Joey Logano one.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, we don't need to see that one.
Yeah, we also don't need to see it.
Yeah,
but
this
you did
one's
show
from
us
the
that.
All-Star race where he led like 200 laps.
Wow. Everyone's favorite
All right,
race.
new bomb split moment. That.
Man,
My Road Pro moment, and once again, probably just the Road Pro moment of the entire show. 15 years and 239 Grand Prix starts later, Nico Hulkenberg has finally stood on a podium.
Yeah, baby.
Dude, like last week I went on that whole diatribe about like, man, life is beautiful sometimes, and then immediately get another one of those. This is just one of those moments, to keep it brief, of never give up. You know, like there had been so many times where it was like, oh, he blew that opportunity, or oh, he's totally gonna get one here, or whatever. And over the last 5 years, like it seemed like his career has come to an end. And it's like, you know what, he's had a great career, but that's always going to hang over him. And then he gets another chance, and it's like, oh, okay, Nico Hulkenberg can still drive. And then he lands with Haas last year, and it's like, okay, well, they're not really in podium contention, but he's still good. And then he goes to Sauber this year, and it's like, okay, he's definitely not going to do it. And in the rain, from P19 on the grid, just delivers an absolute clinic, shows everybody why he's still awesome. Like, it's hard to put into words, like, how special this was to wake up and see this. But it's been a long time coming, so I tip my hat to you, Nico. Congrats. Yeah.
Fucking awesome. So cool. I've been I'm young enough to like not really remember a Formula One without a Nico Hulkenberg in it, and throughout that whole time he's had near misses when I was a teenager. He had near misses in my early 20s. He had near misses now as I'm in my mid 20s and you know, approaching 28 years old. He finally gets one. So goddamn cool. Super likable guy if you don't follow F1. Like just a guy that has deserved it for so much longer than he waited, and it was so cool to like I didn't get to watch it, but I was able to kind of follow along live and everyone's reactions. Tommy, a good friend of the show, big Nico Hulkenberg fan, he was ecstatic. It was so cool.
Yeah.
Super happy moment.
Yeah, and like one of the examples I used was, I remember when he went to Force India in 2014, and that was already after, you know, as a rookie, he puts it on pole at Brazil for Williams, and you know, he sits out 2011 as a test driver. He goes to Force India in 2012, has a great season, barely misses the podium in Belgium, drives for Sauber a year after they were putting Perez and Kobayashi on the podium every week, and even though they were struggling, he still almost makes the podium in Korea. And it was like Bahrain, I remember that race of him and Perez just absolutely dueling for third and thinking like, all right, this is going to be his year. And that was 11 years ago. And like it's just hard to put into words of like almost just like how inspiring it was for me to like. His career was over after 2019, which another race that he infamously threw away what probably would have been a race win in Germany. And like he got back and made the most of it. It's awesome. Like, and it's one of those things where if he had never scored a podium, like Nico Hulkenberg would have had a ton to celebrate his F1 career with, because like you don't stick around in F1 for 15 years if you're not a great driver. But he can finally check that box off. Like, you did it. So, I love it.
Love that. How can you not be romantic about motorsport?
Yep.
Thanks for watching the Vic Racers podcast, folks. Make sure if you haven't already, drop a like on the video and subscribe. Again, doing so helps support us so much here on Track and Turf. We encourage you to check out Track and Turf on YouTube and on X. Anything else?
David, do you have something?
Man. No, I got nothing. My life is, luckily boring for at least a week and a half.
Nice. Where are you traveling to next?
We'll take those. Colorado.
Ooh. Fun. National
It's a very
parks?
pretty state.
Red Rocks.
Ooh. That's a good.
Red Rocks is very pretty.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah.
I'm
You
excited.
going for a concert or?
It'll be good. Technically, Lauren's going for a concert, and I'm coming along.
Nice. Enjoy.
Hopefully that's the correct phrasing of that. Oh, well, Lauren's texting me right now to let me know if it is or not, so.
Cool.
What's the concert?
I listen,
He's
she's going to
only
be mad at
going
me
along.
if I don't.
Matt, you
She's
shouldn't
going to
have
be
asked
mad
that
at me if I.
question.
No. It's
Matt.
fine. Because my excuse for not knowing what to say is because it's one guy's name, but he's had like 40 billion bands, and so I never know which one to say. So I just don't say anything. It's a thing Lauren likes.
Well, who's the guy?
Not derogatory. God, I don't. Hold on. I do know the one thing, but I don't want to say it because I don't know if that's like a thing actually anymore, because it's a band, and I don't know if it's the band that he's currently in or if it's a band that is like not real anymore. Andrew McMahon, that's right.
Let's see if I recognize this guy.
In chat, let me know if I should buy a 2000 or a 1997 Dodge Intrepid. All right.
Oh yeah, you weren't lying. There. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, I wasn't lying.
Yeah.
If you go to someone's Wikipedia page and they're a music artist and their years active section has 3 separate sections inside of it, no, I'm not going to know what to say.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm sure that'll be cool.
I'm excited to go with her.
I do have something to plug. It's not mine, but it's kind of along the same lines of something I plugged a few weeks ago. It's been a rough year for moto, man. And Aiden Zing was an amateur racer who sadly passed away a couple weeks ago. And his family has a fundraising website called az39forever.com. All the proceeds for what they're selling is going to go to helping with his parents' cause and everything. I will definitely be buying some stuff off there. So if you want to help out some people who really need it right now, that's a good place to do that. So
Love that.
and that was the show.
That was the show. Now for real.
See you guys next week
Well,
on the Fake Racers podcast.